too. And now we're going to go on Facebook Live, and we'll have the whole kit and caboodle covered. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, children of ages, and welcome to Living on a Thin Line with Tony Vicich. I am Tony Vicich. This is your daily reprieve. Boy, I was doing so well. I got tripped up over a consonant. This is your daily reprieve from all the anger, anxiety, weirdness, and hoopla going on in the world today. We come to you every day at 2 p.m. our time. Currently, the same as Pacific time, even though we're in Arizona. Don't be confused. We try to explain it every day, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. We come to you every day at 2 p.m. our time. We come to you on 3 platforms: Comedy Schools Radio Network.com, YouTube on the Comedy Schools channel, and right here on a Facebook Live. Show is built around 3 things. It is built around interaction with you, the people. You can leave questions and comments on the aforementioned social media sites, and we will comment back or try to answer the questions, usually with some tall tale or falsehood. Then we usually have some sort of knick-knack or memorabilia or autograph or some little piece of fluff that we then show and try to weave a story around. And hello, Champ de Blasio. Hello, Tina and Mike. We're getting the whole comedyschools.com Living on a Thin Line family together. And then we generally talk about 2 artists or 2 pieces of music, and we recommend a song from each one of them that we then post a link to, both here in the comments and later on when I put in the titles to the show. So that's a lot. That's a lot for a 30-minute program. It is. But then again, it's not like I'm Jackie Gleason. It's not like I got the June Taylor Dancers and Art Carney, and Audrey Meadows are coming to do guest appearances. Just me talking to you. That's all that we have. I don't know if you know this or not, but I was just you don't know this. A lot of times, right before we do the show, I am asleep. Some people say, "Yeah, you look like you're asleep when you're doing the show." I am a unrepentant napper. Hello, Kevin Brown. I am an unrepentant napper. I have taken a nap almost my entire life, even when I wasn't supposed to. I'm a firm believer in naps. I'm a firm believer in a good chunk nap, at least 1 hour to 1.5 hours every afternoon. I probably sleep better during one of my naps than I do at night when I lay my head down on the pillow, when I try to rest my weary head. And here's the weird thing about naps, okay? As an adult, people will give you a hard time about it. I'm just about at the age right now where people kind of expect it. Grandpa's sleeping. So I'm at the age where people kind of expect it. They kind of roll their eyes at it a little bit, but it's no big deal. And when you're a little kid, it's required of you. Let's lay down. Stay down, take a nap. It's nap time. And you're trained as a little baby, as a little kid, to take a nap. That's so good. You took a nap. That's good. I think research. What are you doing sleep for? Get up. Come on. Get on the ball. Get on the stick. Get on the job. Now, come on. Step it up and go. Let's rock and roll. Let's hoochie coo. Let's go. Let's go. Why are you sleeping? Get up. Sleep. Sleep's for losers. So it's a trick. It's a dirty trick. It's a dirty trick. It's played upon us by the powers that be. First off, they reward you for taking a nap. They reward you for taking a nap. They laud you. They give you a cookie. Taking a nap. But later on as an adult, if you try to continue with this practice, they lambast you. And it's a way to, it's the man's way of keeping you down. It's the man's way. It'll make you feel less than. Feel like a loser. Feel like a failure. Now I'm here to tell you, you're okay if you take a nap, you bunch of losers. All right, so what's going on today? You know what? There's some changes in the house right now, so it kind of changes what I talk about I am primarily getting most of my news and information via internet during the day right now. I mean, like I'm going up and I'm reading websites, reputable websites. I see if all you did was look at like YouTube videos all day, how you would be a real idiot, But I mean, if that's where you get your news all the time, because there's just a massive amount of just lies and propaganda that are put out there. But we got the youngster here with us right now, Daly. Come here and stick your head in the camera and say hi, youngster. There's the youngster. Thank you, youngster. That is Sullivan Ramirez, and he's with us every day, and he's going to skill on a computer.
I feel a bit frightened right now.
Why do you feel frightened right now?
Because Nana's calling.
Nana's calling.
Squidward.
All right, I'm going to fill you guys in on that in just a moment. And since he's here going to skill on the computer, we don't have the news on the whole time, so I'm not as worked up or in as many histrionics as I normally would be at this time of day. I know that the big vice presidential debates are tonight. I know one of the takeaways I took from the information about the vice presidential debate was that when Kamala Harris requested a plexiglass shield between her and Vice President Mike Pence. Hello, I'm Mike Pence. I'm just from Indiana. I'm just a simple stalk of corn. Every once in a while, that big old crow Donald Trump likes to come up and take a bite out of, so he can feel like he has a soul. She was belittled and derided by the Pence campaign. It's all right if she wants to go up there with a fortress around her. And I think this is where you really see where the rubber meets the road, where things divide so easily. Look, I've done some crazy things in my time. Sullivan, I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know either.
Okay. Sullivan's like sticking stuff in front of my face. I've done some crazy things in my time. I've done that. I've jumped off too high of a space. I've drank too much of the wrong thing. I've eaten too much of the wrong food. I have limboed in under the wire, and that is a metaphor for so many things in my life. But right now, there is a real, highly contagious, communicable disease floating around our planet that has killed over 1 million people and now over 210,000 Americans. And one of the ways to reduce the possibility of you catching it from someone is to have a piece of plexiglass between you and them when necessary, like they have at the grocery store, like they have at the restaurants, like they have in so many places. And it's just stupid to make fun of people for wanting to have that protection. This isn't an arm wrestling contest. This isn't a deadlift competition. This isn't, this isn't Evel Knievel shit, getting on a motorcycle, going through a flaming hoop.
Next one.
There's no bravery. There's no bravery in going out and wearing no mask. That doesn't make you brave. It makes you stupid. No bravery in going, plexiglass, what are you, sissy? Oh, look at the girl. There's no bravery. That makes you stupid, mean.
I don't think he's the one who
What's that?
I think he was dictated to.
Shirley thinks that he was dictated to. That is a big question about Mike Pence. Mike Pence had been on the national scene for some time, but before he became Vice President Mike Pence, as a governor out of Indiana, nobody who I would have no agreements with him about anything. Nothing. But he was a man who was able to function to help the United States function as the United States. But since becoming vice president, has become an embarrassing toady. I mean, man, what must it be like to be a guy like Mike Pence and be the vice president of this particular president? My God, how it must make you wretch. To be a sane man with a lot of bad ideas. To be a sane man with a lot of A lot of what he believes in, I don't believe in, but still a sane man. And then have to be a toady, and you must be a toady to live in the world of Trump. To this guy, and then to go on camera and go, the president and I've been talking, and that probably as part of that, he was told to attempt to humiliate Kamala Harris. This is not fun stuff. This is not mean stuff. This is not hardball politics that's going on in our world today. What's going on in our world today is the coward's zero-sum game. It is not acts of war. It is not meeting on the field of battle. It's not meeting on the field of games. It's not meeting on the field of dreams. It is an attempt to destroy people through meanness and intimidation and humiliation, primarily emanating from this White House. Some from these very social media platforms that we function on here. The attempt to spill out onto these platforms information about people's personal lives, whether true or not, which permanently paint them into a shame corner. Shame. And I just thought it was normally, in a normal time, conduct unbecoming that during a national crisis. And by the way, if you're a COVID denier, if you go, only, there's that, yeah, then, go watch something else. Turn this off. If you're a COVID denier, get the hell out of here. Don't have anything to do with you. You're part of the problem. If you're a COVID denier, you're the reason we're still having to deal with this, because you haven't played along with the program to help reduce the spread. So, to see the vice president of the United States, to see his camp come out with a statement like, well, if Kamala Harris wants a debate behind a fortress, she can go ahead. Just is beneath anyone. Anyone.
I thought you weren't.
Who's seeking. What?
I thought you weren't going to go into politics.
Oh, okay. I guess what's happening right now is that the producer's telling me to talk about something totally different than what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like pizza.
Here on my my little 30-minute program. I'll entertain any topics then. Now no topics. Now no topics. All right. Hey, we got a couple things coming up. I thought I would point out to you, we got things coming up. Cricket Gill puts up cough. No worries. I'm not coughing because of COVID. That's what Cricket Gill put up. We got a couple things coming up that I think pizza. That's right. DJ Payne heard Sullivan say pizza. Paul Whitney says Cricket Gill just allergies. Cricket Gill says, she's taking over pizza. Joe Gannon is watching. Maybe Joe Gannon will be on my side. It's tough being me.
It's not his side.
Okay. So, all right. So now I feel like I was running down the street full speed, and then one of those things where someone sticks a board out from like, so it's taking me a minute to like totally is as adept and agile as I am, as facile of mind that I have, to be stopped full stop in midstream sometimes throws me off a bit. So anyway, what can I tell you about? It's a sunny day out. It's very sunny out.
What about what the show's about?
It's in the high 90s. And what's that, dear?
Nothing.
Music and comedy.
What's that?
That's all what the show is about. Music and comedy.
That's all that the show is about, music and comedy. I don't think you're going to see too many shows like this on social media. I don't think you're going to see too many of them where what just took place. But nonetheless, took place. It did. All right. Speaking of music and comedy, Friday at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we are going to produce something for you absolutely free, kind of like this show right here. Whether it'll carry this sort of a drama, I have no idea. But this coming Friday at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time, we will be presenting to you, ladies and gentlemen, Class Clowns. Class Clowns is Class Clowns is the longest running comedy showcase in the greater Phoenix area, now brought to the world at large. Via Zoom. This is the show that has seen people go from their comedyschools.com is the company that puts on the show that has seen people go from their very first show to national television. If you want to check out some of the best of what Arizona has to offer for free, I'm giving it to you for free. All you got to do is write me here, leave your email here in the messages, or write me, Tony Vicich at comedyschools@hotmail.com. Tony Vicich at comedyschools@hotmail.com, and I will send you your very own Zoom code that will allow you to enter in the room and see comedy via Zoom. Then this Sunday at 5 p.m., we're going to be live in person in a safe, socially distanced, mask required, plenty of hand sanitizer, stand-up comedy show at JP's Comedy Club, Gilbert's Greater Gilbert's, not just Gilbert, Greater Gilbert's latest and greatest brand new comedy entertainment establishment. Tickets are limited for that show because of justified restrictions on large gatherings, which we are following and adhering to. If you want to get tickets to that show, tickets will be sold at the door. Only $15. Only 40 tickets will be sold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 40 tickets. So please check those out. Check that out if you're looking for something to do. If you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy, go to our website, comedyschools.com. We got listed out how you can join us on Zoom or live in the room. We got all that coming up for you. Yes, Sullivan?
Just print this right there because it died, and that's the only place I remember where it's at.
Oh, okay. All right. I am now the watcher of the dead cell phone. So, all right. What can I talk to you about here? How much time do I have left? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. What shall we talk about in the last 10 minutes? I started talking about a couple things yesterday, and then we noticed the sad news of the passing of Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen, part of the brother duo with two other guys that made up the super rock, not a super group, the rock group Van Halen, which pretty much from the late 70s to the early 90s were one of the dominant figures in the rock music arena, in the pop music scene. One of the dominant. So that kind of took things over yesterday. So I didn't even get to what I was planning on talking about. And one of the things we're doing right now, because the music that we talk about comes from our vast and mighty vinyl album and CD collection, is we're actually going back and revisiting some of the albums that we talked about early in the podcast. Something weird's happening in my back right now. I'm actually just here to be, I don't know what the hell I am anymore.
Sullivan, come here.
Some of the albums from early on that we're trying to encourage people to listen to. But now what we're doing is we're putting up links to make it easier for you. So we're recommending music and specific songs from these albums. So the group we're going to talk about today, it's one of those interesting groups. Here it is. This is Jethro Tull. And this is not one of their biggest albums. This is actually their second album. Their big album, of course, being Aqualung. But this is their second album. It's called Benefit. It came out sometime in 1970. Jethro Tull was not the name of a person in the group. Jethro Tull was, as I understand it, like Uriah Heep. There was a band called Uriah Heep, named after historical figures from English history. And I believe that Jethro Tull was an agrarian reformer. And why they decided to do that has never quite been explained to me. Jethro Tull was made up of 4 people. Martin Barris, Clive Bunker, Glenn Cornick, and Ian Anderson. But what those four did with music was really quite stunning. This was a prog rock band. Now, the way they dressed and the way they carried on was almost like wandering minstrels from medieval England. That was almost the character that Ian Anderson created. And what was interesting about this band, Jethro Tull, was that the one of the main lead instruments was the flute. When you think rock and roll, Joe Gannon says there was a dog in the neighborhood growing up named Jethro Tull. Flute was not an instrument you would think of. He thought about rock and roll, let's rock. Yet he was able to incorporate it in, as did later on country rock band Marshall Tucker, and also a band out of Chicago, I believe. No, the Flock used the violin. Never mind. So this is a great album. Before they became monsters of the Midway, so to speak, this album came out, and then Jethro Tull was not at the height of its eventual popularity, but was somebody who, if you were really into music at the time, like really into music, you knew who Tull was and you appreciated them. Side one consists of With You There to Help Me, Nothing to Say, Inside Sun, for Michael Collins, Jeffrey, and me. Side two, To Cry You a Song, A Time for Everything, Teacher, Playing Time, and Saucity, You're a Woman. And all the songs were written by Ian Anderson. The song we're going to recommend today, so you kind of get a taste of what Jethro Tull was all about, is With You There to Help Me. So that's the first song on the first side. It's a pretty cool song. I would also recommend To Cry You a Song. If I was going to do two songs off of this album, be With You There to Help Me and To Cry You a Song. So this was British prog rock. This was progressive rock with interesting chord changes and unique instruments played by people dressed up like people from several hundred years ago in merry old England. Later on, after this album, they came out with an album called Aqualung, and Aqualung became a monster. It became one of those giant albums of its time in approximately 1972. It kind of changed the course for them until later on they came out with the conceptual album Thick as a Brick, and then on and on. Jethro Tull went the way of many groups of this nature, which means they just slowly began to dwindle in popularity. We don't actually know the reason for that. We know that there was a constant lineup changes from pretty much from the time of Aqualung on, where the original kids, and they were all kids, no matter how hairy and weird they looked, who all got together somewhere and decided to make music. The lineup began to change quite a bit, starting with from Aqualung on till later on, Ian Anderson being the only original member, that they just seemed to dwindle away. They never completely disappeared, but faded away. Okay. You know what? Switching way back. Cricket Gill said, I didn't, talking about Eddie Van Halen, said, I didn't know he played the guitar riff on Beat It. I thought it was Slash. Wasn't Slash in the video? You know, Cricket Gill, it's so long ago. That music video was so large. It's like much larger than anything Jethro Tull did, by the way. So omnipresent. But somehow I can't remember if it was Slash or not. But very common in music is for whatever's being presented on a video is actually different than what happened in the music studio. Yes, Eddie Van Halen did do the guitar riffs on Beat It by Michael Jackson. So we kind of swung back to that for a second. Kimber Brown said, replying to Douglas M. Payne Jr. just says gate. So let me see here what I got here. What else I can tell you about Jethro Tull? John Evan played organ and piano for our benefit. That's what it says there. Talking about other musicians. John Evan, I believe, from the Moody Blues. So out of England in the mid-'60s, into the late 60s, we had this incredible run of prog rock bands. And I think like so much of what happened in popular music in the late 60s, that had to do with the Beatles. It had to do with what the Beatles began to experiment with, starting with Rubber Soul into Strawberry Fields and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, where they, so much of that had to do with one single man, a man who produced so many of their albums, George Martin, who oftentimes is called the fifth Beatle, who sat in the studio with those four lads and go, well, have you boys ever heard of Beethoven? Here, let's listen to some of his music and see if we can incorporate it in something we're doing. The influence of those records, Rubber Soul by the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band, by the Beatles,
I can't hear.
primarily those two, kind of then opened up the possibility for small groups, and at one time were skiffle groups, one time jug band groups, to start incorporating other instruments and other sounds into their music, and made it incredibly popular, and gave us bands like Jethro Tull, Uriah Heep, Pink Floyd, Procol Harum, somebody what was art rock or prog rock, I believe, it can be directly tied to the Beatles. I would love you to research it and fight me on it. Paul Whitney says Beethoven was a great movie. Love the dog. Yeah, and people will go, Tone, why don't you work a little harder? I go, well, what would the point be? All right, so hey, that kind of covers it right now. I had a political rant today. Then we talked about what I've got coming up for you comedy-wise this weekend, Friday on Zoom, Sunday live in person at JP's Comedy Club in Greater Gilbert. And next week, Monday, free intro at JP's Comedy Club. Tuesday, free intro on Zoom. And then classes going on and on and on and on. Where I can do my all-time favorite thing, which is help people kind of achieve their goals in the land of funny. I truly enjoy doing that. So I'll be doing that all next week. Tonight I'll be teaching class at 6 p.m. Tomorrow I'll be teaching class at 6 p.m. Tomorrow we'll talk more about my homeowners association and more music and more comedy right here, ladies and gentlemen, on Living on a Thin Line. But that's all for now. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.